Hello everyone, welcome to AFS Hackers. I'm Afshan, and in this video I'm going to walk you through the principles of security room of TryHack. So this room has 5 tasks. Let's start with the first task. The first task is introduction. Let's see. The following room is going to outline some of the fundamental principles of information security, the frameworks used to protect data and systems to the element of what exactly makes data secure. This measures frameworks and protocols discussed throughout this room all play a small part in defense in depth. Defense in depth is the use of multiple varied layers of security to an organization's systems and data in the hopes that multiple layers will provide redundancy in an organization's security parameters. Okay, let's proceed. Task 2 is the CIA Triad. The CIA Triad is an information security model that is used in consideration throughout creating a security policy. This is the very favorite question of an interviewer. Remember each and everything related to CIA Triad. So this model has an extensive background ranging from being used in 1998. This history is because the security of information or information security does not start or end with cyber security, but instead applies to scenarios like filing, record storage, etc. Consisting of 3 sections, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, this model has quickly become an industry standard today. This model should help determine the value of data that is applies to, and in turn the attention is need from the business. The CIA Triad is unlike a traditional model where you have individual section. Instead, it is a continuous cycle. Whilst the 3 elements to the CIA Triad can arguably overlap, if even just one element is not met, then the other 2 are rendered useless, similar to the fire triangle. If a security policy does not answer these 3 sections, it is seldom an effective security policy. Whilst the 3 elements to the CIA Triad are arguably self-explanatory, let's explore these and contextualize them into cybersecurity. First one is confidentiality. This element is the protection of data from unauthorized access and misuse. Organizations will always have some form of sensitive data stored on their systems. To provide confidentiality is to protect this data from parties that is not intended for. There are many real-world examples for this. For example, employee records and accounting documents will be considered sensitive. Confidentiality will be provided in the sense that only HR administrator will access employee records, where vetting and tight access control are in place. Accounting records are less valuable and therefore less sensitive. So not as stringent access control would be in place for this document. Or for example, government using a sensitivity classification rating system, top secret, classified, and unclassified. Next one is integrity. CIA Triad element of integrity is the condition where information is kept accurate and consistent unless authorized change are made. It is possible for the information to change because of careless access and use, error in the information system, or unauthorized access and use. In the CIA Triad, integrity is maintained when the information remains unchanged during storage, transmission, and usage, not involving modification to the system, modification to the information. Steps must be taken to ensure data cannot be altered by unauthorized people, for example, in a breach of confidentiality. Many defenses to ensure integrity can be put in place. Access control and rigorous authentication can help prevent unauthorized user from making unauthorized changes. Hash verifications and digital signature can help ensure that transactions are authentic and that files have not been modified or corrupted. Last one is availability. In order for data to be useful, it must be available and accessible by the user. The main concern in the CIA Triad is that the information should be available when authorized users need to access it. Availability is very often a key benchmark for an organization. For example, having 99.99% uptime on their websites or systems, this is laid out in a service level agreement or SLA. When a system is unavailable, it often results in damage to an organization's reputation and loss of finances. Availability is achieved through a combination of Combination of many elements including having reliable and well-tested hardware for their information technology server, that is reputable servers. Next one is having redundant technology and services in the case of failure of the primary. Implementing well-versed security protocols to protect technology and services from attack. Okay, answer the questions below. What element of the CIA triad ensures that data cannot be altered by unauthorized people? That is integrity. Integrity. Yes, it is correct. What element of the CIA triad ensures that data is available? That is availability. Okay, let's submit the answer. Okay. What element of the CIA triad ensures that data is only accessed by authorized people? That is confidentiality. Let's copy confidentiality. Submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. Task 3 is principles of privileges. Okay. It is vital to administrate and correctly define the various level of access to an information technology system individuals require. The level of access given to individuals are determined on two primary factors. The first factor is the individual's role or function within the organization. Next one is the sensitivity of the information being stored on the system. Two key concepts are used to assign and manage the access right of individuals. Two key concepts are used, that is privilege identity management or PIM and privilege access management or PAM for short. Initially, these two concepts can seem to overlap, however, they are different from one another. Privilege identity management is used to translate a user's role within the organization into an access role on a system, whereas PAM is the management of the privilege system's access role has, amongst other things. What is essential when discussing privilege and access control is the principle of least privilege. Simply, user should be given the minimum amount of privileges and only those that are absolutely necessary for them to perform their duties. Other people should be able to trust what people write to. As we previously mentioned, PAM incorporates more than assigning access. It also encompasses enforcing security policies such as password management, auditing policies, and reducing the attack surface a system faces. Okay. What does the acronym PIM stand for? PIM stand for Privileged Identity Management. Let's copy it and paste it here. Submit the answer. Okay, it is correct. What does the acronym PAM stand for? Privileged Access Management. Let's copy it. Submit the answer. Okay. If you wanted to manage the privilege a system access role had, what methodology would you use? So we will use PAM because we are managing the privileges of a system access, right? If you wanted to create a system role that is based on a user roles responsibilities with an organization, what methodology is this? That is PIM, because we are managing the role. Submit. Okay, so task 4 is security model continued. Let's see. Okay, so before discussing security models further, let's recall the three elements of the CIA triad, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We have previously outlined what these elements are and their importance. However, there is a formal way of achieving this. According to the security model, any system or piece of technology storing information is called an information system, which is how we will reference systems and devices in this task. Let's explore some popular and effective security models used to achieve the three elements of the CIA triad. The first model is the Bella Padula model. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Bella Padula model is used to achieve confidentiality. This model has a few assumptions such as organizational hierarchical structure. It is used in where everyone's responsibilities, roles are well defined. The model works by granting access to pieces of data called objects on a strictly need to know basis. This model uses the rule no write down, no read up. Okay. Advantages of this particular model are: policies in this model can be replicated to real life organizations hierarchies and vice versa. Simple to implement and understand, and has been proven to be successful. And the disadvantages are: even though a user may not have access to an object, they will know about its existence, so it is not confidential in that aspect. The model relies on a large amount of trust within the organization. The model is popular within organizations such as governmental and military. This is because members of the organizations are presumed to have already gone through a process called vetting. Vetting is a screening process where applicant backgrounds are examined to establish the risk they pose to organization. Therefore, applicants who are successfully vetted are assumed to be trustworthy, which is where this model fits in. The BIBA model. The BIBA model is arguably the equivalent of the Bella Padula model, but for the integrity of the CIA Triad. Okay, this model applies to the rule to object or data and subject user that can be summarized as no write up, no read down. This rules means that a subject can create or overwrite content to object at or below their level, but can only read the content of objects above the subject's level. Let's compare some advantages and disadvantages of this model in the table below. So advantages of this BIBA model are: this model is simple to implement and resolve the limitations of the Bella Padula model by addressing both confidentiality and data integrity. Disadvantages are: there will be many level of access and objects. Things can be easily overlooked when applying security control, often result in delays with the businesses. For example, a doctor would not be able to read the notes made by a nurse in a hospital with this model. Okay, because of the integrity. Okay, the BIBA model is used in organization or situations where integrity is more important than confidentiality. For example, in a software development, developers may only have access to the code that is necessary for their job. They may not need access to critical pieces of information such as database and etc. Answer the question below. What is the name of the model that uses the rule can't read up, can read down? That is the Bella Padula model. Let's copy it. Submit the answer. Yes, it is correct. What is the name of the model that uses the rule can read up, can't read down? This is the BIBA model. Let's copy the BIBA model. Only read the content of the object above the subject's level. Okay. Let's submit the answer. Okay. If you were a military, what security model would you use? So we will use the Bella Padula model. Let's copy it and submit the answer. If you were a software developer, what security model would the company perhaps use? So the company will use the BIBA model. BIBA model. Let's copy it and paste it here. Submit the answer. Okay. Task 5 is threat modeling and incident response. Let's see. So threat modeling is the process of reviewing, improving and testing the security protocols in place in an organization's information technology infrastructure and services. A critical stage of the threat modeling process is identifying likely threat that an application or a system may face. The vulnerabilities a system or application may be vulnerable to. The threat modeling process is very similar to a risk assessment made in a workplace for employees and customers. The principles all return to preparation, identification, mitigation, and review. Okay, as you guys can see here in the diagram. It is, however, a complex process that needs constant review and discussion with the dedicated team. And effective threat models include threat intelligence, asset identification, mitigation capabilities, and risk assessment. To help with this, there are frameworks such as STRID, that is spoofing identity, tampering with data, repudiation threats, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privileges. And PASTA, that is process for attack stimulation and threat analysis. InfoSec never tested so good. Let's detail STRIDE below. STRIDE, authorized by two Microsoft security researchers in 1999, is still very relevant today. STRIDE includes six main principles, which I have detailed in the table below. Let's see the first principle, that is spoofing. The principle requires you to authenticate request and user accessing a system. Spoofing involves a malicious party falsely identifying itself as another. Access keys such as a API key or signatures via encryption helps remediate this threat. Tampering. By providing anti-tampering measures to a system or application, you help provide integrity to the data. Data that is accessed must be kept integral and accurate. For example, shops use seal on food products. Repudiation. This principle dictates the use of services such as logging of activity for a system or application to track. Next principle is information disclosure. Application or services that handle information of multiple users need to be appropriately configured. The only show information relevant to the owner is shown. Denial of service. Application and services use up system resources. These two things should have measures in place so that abuse of the application or service won't result in bringing the whole system down. Elevation of privileges. This is the worst case scenario of an application or service. It means that a user was able to escalate their authorization to that of a higher level, that is an administrator. This scenario often leads to further exploitation or information disclosure. Okay, so these are the principle of STRIDE. A breach of a security is known as an incident. And despite all rigorous threat models are secure system design, incidents do happen. Action taken to resolve and remediate the threats are known as incident response or IR, and our whole career path in cybersecurity, like incident responder. Incidents are classified using a rating of urgency and impact. Urgency will be determined by the type of attack faced, where the impact will be determined by the affected system, and what impact that has on business operations. So the urgency and impact categorized in three levels. The first level is high, medium, and low. An incident is a responded by a computer security incident response team, which is pre-arranged group of employees with technical knowledge about the system and current incident. To successfully solve an incident, these steps are often referred to as 6 phases of incident response that takes place. So let's see what are the 6 steps. So these are the action. The first action is preparation. Do we have the resources and plans in place to deal with the security incident? So we need to ask this question to our security team, that do we have the resources and plans in place to deal with the security incident? Next action is identification. Has the threat and the threat actor been correctly identified in order for use to respond to? Okay. Next action is containment. Can the threat or security incident be continued to prevent other system or user from being impacted? Eradication, that is remove the active threat. Recovery, perform a full review of the impacted system to return to the business as usual operations. Last one is lesson learned, like what can be learned from this incident? That is, if it was due to phishing email, employees should be trained better to detect phishing emails. Okay. What model outlines spoofing? That is tried. Let's copy it and paste it here. Okay. What does the acronym IR stand for? That is incident response. Let's copy incident response. And paste it here. Submit the answer. Okay. You are tasked with adding some measures to an application to improve the integrity of data. What STRIDE principle is this? Integrity, right? STRIDE principle. That is tampering. Okay. an attacker has penetrated your organization security and stolen data, it is your task to return to the organization. It is your task to return the organization to business as usual. What incident response stage is this? That is recovery. Okay, so we have successfully completed the principles of security room of TryHackMe. Okay, so I hope you like this video, guys. If you did, then share this video with your friends and your colleagues. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care and keep hacking.